I have removed the Stoptail from this Gibson SG and I'm going to replace it with the B5 B-bender adapter plate. So before we attach the B5 B-bender adapter plate, we're going to apply these two small washers. It's important that we place those over the wells that normally the Stoptail studs would be attached to, but instead we're going to attach the screws that are supplied in the kit. So first we're going to put the washers down. It's important that those be applied, and then we're going to apply the B5 B-bender adapter plate. So next, by hand, we're going to carefully install those screws or bolts. And then we're going to take a 3/16 Allen wrench and tighten them down firmly by hand. And you'll know if you have this installed properly if there is a small gap under the bottom of this plate. This plate will attach to an SG, which has a flat top on it, but it will also attach to an ES335 or a Les Paul or other Gibson style guitars with a Stoptail and a Tune-o-matic bridge. The spacers are there to give you some height from the adapter plate, especially if the guitar has an arch. So like an ES335 has a bit of an arch top, so does a Les Paul. And you need those spacers, especially with that arch. But you also need it with any of the Gibson guitars that have the flat top on them as well. I want you to put those spacers there. After we have attached the adapter plate, then we're going to apply the B5 B-bender. So this one already has the B5 B-bender installed on it, and I'm going to go ahead and put the washer and the spring in there. In the kit, you'll get 2 long screws and 2 short screws, and those short screws go in the back, and you need to make sure that you put these screws in the proper place, because if you don't, you may not attach the Bigsby properly, or if you were to put the long screws where the short screws go, the screws may poke through the bottom of the plate, and you don't want either one of those things to happen. So you notice that I put the short screws in and I did not tighten them down just yet. We're going to make sure that the vibrato arm is working freely. And we'll tighten everything down. See, now it's not operating freely. So we're going to loosen the screw and you'll see that that drops. So we want that tight enough that it moves freely, not too tight. Let's do the same thing here. Let's tighten both screws down. Tighten them a little more. And the vibrato bar is still free. That's the reason that they put the felt pads on the bottom of the Bigsby vibrato, is so that you have enough more or less wiggle room to adjust it so that that Bigsby arm never binds. So just kind of adjust whichever screw needs to be adjusted until it operates freely. Okay, so now that we have the B5 B-bender adapter plate and the B5 B-bender installed, I'm going to show you how to string this guitar. Now, I recommend that if you're going to install the Bender system, that you get the pinless B5 Bigsby. You can buy those from me, you can buy those from the All Parts website, you can find them on Reverb sometimes, but these are much easier than the Bigsbys with the pins. And again, this is the Bigsby B5 pinless. So to string this, I'm going to put the string through, bring the vibrato bar back, bring it all the way through, and then the string needs to go under the roller bar. I'll bend the string over a little bit there, and it'll go up to the tuner. And now that we've done that, I would suggest that you go ahead at this point and connect the string to the tuner, but don't tighten it up all the way, because when you apply the next string, you want to be able to bend the vibrato bar back at least halfway. Again, to put the string through here, pull it through, lay it down, bring the string under, and up to the tuner. Again, I don't recommend tightening that string and bringing it into tune until you string all of the strings that are going to go through the pinless bar. At this point, we'll go ahead and string the B string into the guitar. I'll show you how the B string goes into the bender lever. So, what I recommend you do is bring the B string through on the E-string side. We're going to put the ball end of the string into that hole. You may want to loosen the front fender lever so that it moves freely. And now we're in. We have the ball end into the bender. There's a small slot on the radius of this bender lever on the bottom. We want to make sure the string is in that slot. We want to make sure that the string comes over the saddle and then up to the nut and up to the tuners. And now you know how to install a B5 B bender with the adapter plate for Gibson Stoptail style guitars that have a tune-o-matic bridge. Reach out if you have questions. Thank you. In each package, whether you buy the completed Steelmaster or the B5 bender with the Bigsby or one of the kits, we provide you with alternate length paddles. Before you go to replace this paddle with an alternate length paddle, you need to loosen this set screw before you loosen or tighten the set screw that holds the paddle onto the lever. So we're going to go ahead and go through the process. I'm going to loosen that set screw that holds the socket screw in place, that allows you to set the friction, or as I like to refer to as stiction, of the paddle. After we loosen that set screw, we take the largest Allen wrench, remove that socket head screw, the paddle, and the washer that is underneath. We'll go ahead and put the longest paddle back onto this one. So first of all, we're going to install the socket head screw into the paddle. Then we'll install that lock washer onto there. And then install it onto the bender lever. When we get to this point, we'll set the tightness or the stiction of that paddle, set it just a little bit tighter in this case. And we're going to go back to the smallest Allen wrench and re-tighten that smallest set screw. And what that smallest set screw is doing is holding that socket head screw into place so that we can move that paddle around as we want.